felt good.
Welcome, everyone, to the Living in Oneness and the Community Circle call with our very special guest, James von Praagh. I'm Nanette Kennedy, here with my colleague, Dee Meyer, and we are the co-coordinators of Humanities Team Community Circle program. Humanities Team, if you don't know, has over 100,000 teammates in 150 countries, and we would like to thank all of our donors for your support of the Community Circle, and we'd like to thank all of our volunteers. Without the financial nurturing and the in-kind donations, we would not simply be able to do our work. Today, we launched our new Living in Oneness website, which today's call with James is part of that program. To see future calls and visit the new site, to www.livingin1.com. I would like to thank our dear friend and Humanities Team colleague, Angie LIO, for helping us get James von Praagh to this call today. We've interviewed many extraordinary speakers and authors, and today is our great pleasure to bring to you James von Praagh. James brings tools to create a life of love and oneness through realizing our connection with the other side. We will be covering what is possible when you learn to take spiritual action by making significant changes for yourself, all creatures, and Mother Earth benefit. Through the energy of oneness, we can create heaven on earth. By using the knowledge James will share with us today, you will be able to empower positive change to bring out the very best of you. We are going to go over as much ground as we possibly can during this hour. We have many questions for James already rolling in. They've been rolling in for the past couple of days. We will get to as many of those from the webcast and on the phone as possible. If you are on the phone and you have a question that you would like to ask James, press 1 or 2. If you're on the webcast, you can enter your question on the Q&A area. Please give us your first name, where you're listening in from, and your question. Over to you, Dee.
Thanks, Nanette. We have over 5,200 people who have registered for today's call, and we are very excited to introduce you to James von Praagh. James is considered a spiritual pioneer and one of the world's most celebrated and respected spiritual teachers working today. He's brought in a mindful awareness to the subject of communication with the dead into the public psyche for the past 30 years. Mr. von Praagh is known as a survival evidence medium, meaning that he provides evidential proof of life after death via detailed messages from the spiritual realm. Welcome, James.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's such a pleasure having you here with us today. We'd like to open up our calls with a centering or healing meditation. Would you like to lead one for us before we really jump in?
Sure, I'd love to. Can you hear me okay? Is everything all right?
Yes, it sounds good.
Okay, perfect. So anybody that's listening here, just close your eyes for just a moment and just give yourself over to this time together in this space and just listen to the sound of my voice and just being mindful of the space that you're in, whether you're sitting at a desk or sitting in a chair or lying down on the floor, whatever it is, or on a computer. This is your own time and your own space. So just put that out there in your mind. That's fine. Good. And remember that you are first and foremost a soul being having a human experience, not the other way around. Just with that, that's fine. And be mindful also that you, also as a soul being, are way beyond this physical body. Your energy, your light, goes way down, all the way to the center of the earth, to beautiful Gaia energy, to bring balance and security, to bring a oneness, a connectedness to all things. But you are part of the earth is part of you, your light. You're also a part of this beautiful cosmic light. Just imagine, way above you, far, far away, in a world or a space way beyond this world that we know, and an atmosphere, a stratosphere, a realm way beyond human comprehension. There is a golden light, a bright golden light, which represents our highest self, our spiritual home, our origin, our light. And just as you hear my voice and the music gently behind, I would just like you to envision this beautiful golden light coming into your body and surrounding every cell, every muscle, every tissue, every organ with this bright cosmic light. And as you exhale out of your mouth, you're going to imagine a gray mist coming out of your mouth, falling down to Mother Earth. And that gray mist represents all old energy that you've been holding onto, old ways of thinking, old patterns you have not let go yet, other people's energy in your space. We're just going to release all that and come back to the center of our heart, the center of our being. So together, let's bring in that beautiful golden light. And inhale. And hold it 2, 3, 4, and exhale. And let it go. That grayness, let it go. Let it go. Good. Good. And again, and inhale that beautiful golden light, and inhale. And hold. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. And let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Good. And just one more time, feeling completely centered in your being. Your soul is tucked neatly behind the heart. That is the home of the soul. So let's breathe in that beautiful golden light one more time. And inhale. And hold it. 2, 3, 4. And exhale. And let it go. Let it go. Good. Good. And just stay centered in your heart. Place your mind, your thoughts on your heart space, that beautiful green light in the center of your being, the space of oneness and balance, harmony, connectedness to everyone and everything. Source of life flows through you. You are life. You are that God being. You are divine. So, divine, open up your eyes. Express the truth of who you are. So it is. So it is. Be as one.
That was beautiful. Thank you. So,
you're welcome.
A little later in the call, James has offered to lead us through creating a sacred space. So, more towards the end of the call, we'll do that. But first, we're going to start off with a few questions, and then we're going to go to open line questions. And James, we have so many questions coming in on the webcast, so we'll go into those in just a little bit. But I would love to invite you to share your story and what was your first encounter with the spirit world.
Oh, wow. Well, there were many of them when I was a little boy. As a little boy, I used to see spirit quite often, just like in the movie The Sixth Sense. That was my childhood, except my visions were very positive ones, not negative. And I remember very clearly, I said to my mother, we were saying prayers once, I was 7 years old, and I asked her, who are those people at the end of the bed, the lights around them? And she said, oh, those people, those are God's angels. You see them too? They'll always protect you and take care of you. And that was one of the first experiences I ever had. And another time I was in first grade, and I walked up to my teacher, and I told her that her son was hit by a car, but it's okay, he just broke his leg. And she said, go sit down. So several minutes later, the principal came in and took the teacher out of the room, and then eventually the teacher came back into the room, and she said, James, come here. She asked me to come to her desk. And she said, how did you know that? My son was playing soccer, and the ball went in the middle of the road. He chased after it, and a car hit him. But he's okay, he just broke his leg. And I started crying because I thought, just by my having that thought, I created that to happen. And this lady said to me, no, James, God makes people a certain way, or whatever she would say to a 6-year-old. And she said, maybe one day you'll help people with that. I remember she said that, help people. That was when I was 6 years old. How far back it does.
What an incredible teacher.
Yes, an incredible teacher. If I had a nun, it would have been a whole different story. I think. We might not have been talking here today.
So your mother passed her psychic and medium abilities to you. Can anyone else train to become more psychic?
Yeah, so usually it's in genetic links, in genetic lines, if you will. It's hereditary. So that being said, so everybody is born with the ability to play the piano, but not everybody's a concert pianist. So as a medium, I'm born with a certain, if you will, way toward mediumship, an ability toward mediumship. Everybody is psychic from one degree or another. So people can develop their psychic ability for sure. But as far as mediumship, for me, I think we can only develop it to a certain degree. If they don't have that ability of mediumship, they can only develop their intuition to a certain degree and the mediumship to a certain degree. And that's what they can do. They can definitely develop their psychic ability, no doubt about it, without a doubt. Not as many mediums as there are psychics, more psychics than mediums.
Well, I actually have a question about that, James. And I've had the pleasure of meeting you a couple times and seeing you live. And,
great.
But would you explain to the audience the difference between a medium and a psychic?
Sure. That's a great question, and yes, I would love to do that. Everybody is psychic from one degree or another, as I said. So, and I can tell you this, that every medium is psychic, but not every psychic is a medium, which means that as a medium, well, first of all, as a psychic, everybody has this sixth sense, intuition. We all know about thinking about someone 5 minutes later the phone rings. It's that person. What is that? That's your intuition. That's your psychic sense. So we use it every day. If we used it more and paid more attention to it, it would get stronger and stronger, and the choices in our lives would be a lot easier if we would use that. So everybody is psychic from one degree or another. A medium is somebody who has not only an acute amount of psychic ability, but is able to energetically bring themselves to a certain vibration of energy, which is usually much higher in the bandwidth, and be able to interact with the higher vibrations or frequencies of the other dimensions of the spirit world. And the spirit people will actually lower their thoughts, lower themselves down to a certain level of a medium's mind just by their thoughts. So like, I got to go to this medium, I got to go to this medium. And they'll lower them down to a space next to the medium's mind, at which point the spirit will project thoughts, feelings, images, memories into the mind of the medium. And the medium will hopefully be able to bring through to the sitting person the details that the spirit is conveying. That's the difference.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, that definitely helps.
Because I don't like that saying that. I don't like that saying that psychic medium. I do not like that at all. I think it's wrong. Because I would hope that every medium is psychic. Otherwise, there's a big problem. So it's kind of redundant. It's kind of a redundant type of thing, psychic medium. I think it should just be medium or spiritual medium or just psychic. And I just have a hard time with that. And anytime I see that with people, I know that they don't know enough. And then another thing I want to say, people who have like Reiki or a body worker or life coach and also medium and psychic, they're throwing all those things on the wall to see which one sticks. And I think you shouldn't do that. I think you should pick one thing and really perfect that one thing. You know what I mean? Then all those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, my next question, excuse me, comes from when your first experience as a child. And I have a 6-year-old granddaughter. And just the other day, Dee and I were talking, and I looked up in the hallway, and my daughter was having granddaughter was having a complete conversation with no one there. And
that you could see.
that I could see. Yeah, that I could see. Yes, thank you for correcting that.
Yes.
My question is, and I've raised 3 kids, and I have another child that's a little bit on the psychic side, is how do we allow our children to keep that gift? And I know I'm very careful about what I say. I didn't say there's nobody there. You know,
right.
I just, I let it go. But could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I wrote a book many years back called Looking Beyond, A Teenager's Guide to the Spiritual World, and it's really a good book for children and for adults as well. And I actually just finished a weekend for children, and it was really great. Kids, remember kids, the mindset of a child. So to me, the brain is part of the human body, which dies at death, and the brain is part of the human, the body, but the mind is part of the soul. That's I got to say, the mind is part of the soul. Your soul has traveled eons and eons and eons of times, okay? And it's a fabric, and we keep on coming back and embellishing it with these experiences that we have and so forth. So when a child comes back to this human level, remember where they've just come from. They've just come from the world of spirit. So their mindset is that of spirit. So they think in terms of spirit. They don't think in terms of limitation. They don't think in terms of fear. They don't think in terms of judgment. For kids, it is what it is. It just is. And you ask a child, they're very honest, they're very open. They have yet to be taught about judgment or about hate. That comes probably around age 7, 8, 10, 11, as it gets older. Unfortunately, society, teachers, who knows, it just, unfortunately, that aspect of themselves many times gets shut down. I think as a parent of an empathic child or a crystal child, a rainbow child, I think it's really our obligation, our responsibility to keep that child open, to empower them with their sixth sense. What do you feel about that? Oh, what do you see about that? Oh, you're talking to Auntie Maggie. What did Aunt Maggie look like? What is she saying she's doing? Who were you in a past life? Where did your soul visit? Are there any other countries? Try to really encourage them to go in those questions, ask those things, be open to their soul's information. Because that's really what it's about.
Well, that is fascinating. Yeah.
Yes, it really is.
And the book is great. Looking Beyond, a lot of parents have written me back after they've got blood tests for their children and themselves, and it's really changed them. And it really gives the power back. And I talk about how to present it to a child and how to say things to the child where they understand it. You don't want to negate a child's experience because that's not good. For that child, it's a real experience. Just because you didn't see it or feel it doesn't mean they did not. But they did. So what does that tell them? If you say, oh, you're just crazy, oh, it's your imagination, that tells them that they can't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
careful.
I remember my daughter from a very young age just being a tiny baby and looking off in another direction and laughing and being entertained. And it was obvious that there was a connection beyond. And, there's a point at which that stops, and I think it probably was around 5 or 6. But I think it's very interesting. Can we talk a little bit?
We can all go into that. We can go back to that. And let's say you're now in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s. You can go back to that sense of innocence, if you will, that sense of purity through meditation, through sitting in stillness. You can go back to that part of yourself because it never leaves. But it really is very interesting. That's what I do with my workshops, my classes, and I bring people back to that empowerment stage. And it's amazing. They say, wow, where have I been for so long? So it's pretty incredible. That never leaves us. We filled our head with too many of those human things, and fear and jobs and money and, all those negative things we worry about, instead of truth.
Can we talk a little bit about consciousness, energy, and the power of thought and how oneness plays a part in all of this?
Sure. I think that everything is energy, and what I mean simply by energy for me is very simple. I think energy basically means molecules that vibrate or move at a certain rate of speed. And I think there are many levels, if you will, of energy. And we all know that around us right now we have gamma waves and microwaves and cell waves and telephone waves and, television waves, radio, everything. And we don't see them or hear them, but we know they exist because we have the machines that manifest them. So we know they exist, but for us in a three-dimensional way, it's hard for us to see them. So it still doesn't mean they don't exist. They do exist, just not hard. It's just hard for us to see them with a human perspective. So I think that all around us is energy. I think that all around us are different levels of energy, different dimensions, if you will. And I think that the spirit people, I think when we pass out of the human body, that your soul leaves. The mind is part of the soul. It's a natural process which we've done thousands and thousands of times. And I think that there's no pain in death whatsoever. I think you go to a higher level of energy or consciousness, if you will, and you're much more aware that you are, number one, there's no death, and number two, there's a sense of connectedness. There, in the three-dimensional world, there's a sense that we think death is it, and we think being separate from one another. And those are two of the biggest illusions we have here. There is no such thing as death, and there is no such thing as being separate. We're all connected. And unfortunately, too many people wait till they get out of the body to understand that they're connected to each other. So if we had that awareness now in the body, that our thoughts are things, that thoughts are energy. So what you think, you give it life, you give it form, and thoughts are like bullets. They go to exactly the person or the thing that you're targeting it for. So you think of a person, that thought goes right to them. Someone thinks of you, their thought goes right on you. And if people don't take the time to stop, I say on a daily basis, and really get rid of other people's energy in their space, really people that are glomming onto you, whether it's your kids, your families, your employers, whatever it is, it's going to be tough because they're going to start impeding upon your programs and your purity. So every morning, what I do in the shower every morning is I will cleanse the physical body, and then I cleanse the spirit body. And how I do that is that golden light. And I imagine that coming through from the shower head and the beautiful golden light, just like we just did, and taking away any energies in my body and around me in my auric field, and any foreign energies that people have been dealing with, people have been thinking about me, and I just imagine that going down the drain, out of my toes, out of my fingers, down the drain. And after a while, you'll get it. You'll feel balanced. Then when you feel balanced, you say, may God go before me and show me the way. So what I'm doing is I'm programming my day. Now, the word God and the word love are two of the fastest vibrational words we have in this three-dimensional world. It's the same frequency. So God and love is the same. So may God go before me and show me the way. So I'm setting up a program my day on that high level of awareness, of energy. So there is a universal law of like attracts like. So you will attract to you only that of that higher level of God or love.
That is beautiful. We are going to write down a few of these things for our replay to share with everyone.
Perfect.
That is
perfect.
Huge, huge, huge. James, would it be okay with you if we take a few questions now? I won't be able to get all of them.
Sure.
I have a question that came in early today on our webinar, and it says, this is from Stephanie. My father transitioned just about 2 weeks ago. I love him and miss him dearly. Are there any messages you can share from him?
I just need his name.
Charlie.
Charlie, great. So Stephanie and Charlie, yeah. Yeah, well, first of all, let me tell you, Charlie's not alone, and Charlie's that funny guy. Charlie, I'm going to write down my pad. So Charlie's with a lot of people over there. Charlie is a guy, and he goes for a group. So I don't know if it's a Rotary Club or something, but I feel like a lot of guys around him, like a club. I don't know if people used to be in war with or military people or whatever it is. He's with these people over there, which is very funny because they came to greet him when it was his time. I got to tell you that he's finding old people he knew in the lifetime. I think there might be a brother that he's talking about, so I don't know why, but I get that. And I want him to know. I want her to know. There must be more than just her in the family, obviously. But he's around everybody. She did everything right, and he wanted to go when he went. He didn't want to wait, whatever that means. He didn't want to wait. That's what I get.
Wonderful. Thank you. So let's see. Joe, do we have any hands up?
Oh, we certainly do. And I want to go to someone who has been patiently waiting since before the call began, and so I'm going to give the mic now to Karen. Karen, with your hand raised, you have the mic.
Oh, wow. Is that me?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yay. I finally get to tell James how much I adore him. He teaches me so much.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so happy about that. I guess the question I should ask, because there's so many people very dear to me who've passed recently, that I would wonder Who would most have a message for me right now?
Well, who do you think?
Oh, wow.
First one. Don't just say, quick. First one. First one in your head. Don't think too much. First one in your head. First, don't think about it. Who's the first one?
John.
Karen? Who's Karen?
John is actually a friend of mine from high school who died of cancer.
Okay, and John just recently passed?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the first person that popped into your head, yes?
John was the first name that popped in my head. My dad
Perfect.
popped in his head at the same time. Daddy popped in at the same time.
Okay. Okay. So let's just see if we can get John here, because that's the first thing. If they pop in your head, they've been around you waiting to come in. So, and we got to honor that with him. Who had the diabetes, the low blood sugar problem? Is that your dad?
Yeah.
Who had your dad, right? Blood sugar problem?
My father, yeah.
And you're going to have to answer, honey. You can't just sit there and be quiet. I need you to respond. Okay.
I love you,
all right.
buddy.
Who played golf, by the way? Did he ever play golf, or did you have people who played? He did play golf when he was younger.
Yeah.
Because what he impresses me to tell you is, think of him when he used to play golf when he was young, and that's what he looks like. Okay, that's a really old time ago, long time ago. And I don't know if he ever used to drive a Chevy when he was younger. A Chevy, like get Chevy, old Chevy when he was younger.
Yeah.
And would he have married your mother in the 40s?
I'm sorry?
Would he have married your mother in the 40s? Late 40s? Or early 50s?
Right, yeah.
When did your father get married?
I'm sorry, James. I missed that.
Okay. What year did your father get married?
My mother, you mean? Or my dad?
What year did your father get married?
Actually, they're both gone now. John died last November in his 40s, yes.
And do you know if your mother and father were ever married?
Yeah.
Were they? When did they get married?
No, I've never been married. We're working on that. I hope that's going to happen. I'm sorry, lady.
You can hear me too well. You can't hear me too well. That's
I apologize.
All right, sorry. We can't hear me too well.
Okay. Thank you for trying.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have another question that
Go ahead.
came in from Angela, and Angela asked if you could bring in a question from her grandmother who's been gone a long time, and her grandmother's name was Inez Moore.
I'm sorry, what does she want?
She just would like a message from her grandmother, Inez Moore.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to tell you, I think that this lady must have something to do with prayers or prayer work, because she wants her to say her prayers. That's the message.
Oh, Angela, she wants you to say prayers. That's beautiful. Joe, do we have more hands up?
We certainly do, and I'm handing the mic to Leah.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, you're on.
Oh, my God, I'm so excited. Thank you for choosing me. I just have a question. I am going through a very, very difficult time right now, and I just want to know...
Why? Why are you going through a difficult time right now?
I'm going through a divorce, and my husband was not a nice person.
Oh, okay. Divorce is a hard soul lesson, honey. It's a tough one.
It's. I know it's a lesson, and I'm very grateful for it. But I just have 2 children I need to support, and I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to do that.
Of course you will. Yes, you will. You definitely will. You definitely will. But I want to help you with this because I went through a divorce, and not an easy thing to do. And who knows, it might be some karmic obligations between you and your husband, and there might be some soul meetings, with you and your kids too. But the first thing I'm going to tell you is you're going to have to find it in your heart to rise above it. In that, you're going to have to take the high road on this one.
I'm trying.
Okay, please try, because you don't want any negative energy toward him or anybody else. And the reason why is because when you have negative energy, it limits the flow. It stops things from coming to you. And I don't want you to stop energy to come to you and your kids, okay? I want you to have opportunities. So the more you open up that energy and use love instead of fear or anger or upsetment, it's normal and human, of course, to be angry. Of course it is. But don't let it rule your life, okay? And you know what? Who knows why? Some souls come together to learn something, and then they leave. That's all it is.
Right.
So, we got to be better then, right? So I want you to look at it from that point of view, and once you get into that mindset, I guarantee you things will start moving very quickly for you. And I got to tell you, I think that you got to take two different jobs, one job, and then something else comes in. But I think you'll be just fine. I think you'll be fine. There'll be a move coming up too. There's a move coming up. Not a big move, but there's a move coming up for you.
And work-related or home-related?
No, home-related. Home-related.
Oh.
Did you just get an apartment? Did you just get one? An apartment?
I did, yes, about 6 months ago.
Okay, perfect. So don't be surprised if you go to another apartment, something better than you have, because it'll present itself, and it's all your attitude, because you have a great energy, and it's really how it's directed. You either can be perfect or you can be really upset. There's not much in between with you. You can be really good or really bad. So
exactly.
Positive, you know what I mean, right? So
yeah.
Let's use that positive, creative energy to make things really perfect for us and the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm just very concerned with my employment right now. That's the one thing that's really concerning me.
You'll be okay. It's just that you're really angry still. And you're angry, and you need to make sure that those kids have a relationship with their father. Sorry, but you need to.
That I know. I'm trying. I really am trying. It's very, very difficult, but I am trying.
I'm just telling you what I see. So, and the moment you start having that positiveness, then things come to you. Things come to you to work.
Do you have any messages for grandmother?
What's her name?
Her name is Rosalia.
He said, "Don't be stupid." He said, "Don't be
Where
stupid."
am I being stupid? She's very vague. That's
very funny. My God, she's like black and white, this lady. She said, "Don't be stupid." Like, very strong.
Yeah,
don't second guess yourself, in other words, I think she's saying. Don't second guess yourself. You second guess yourself all the time. Don't do that, she's talking about. Okay. You know the truth. You know what to do. You know what to do, this sort of thing. I like her.
All right.
She's right in your corner, sweetheart. Take it easy. Take good care of your lovely self, okay?
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
Joe, do we want to take one more live caller? Then we'll ask a couple more on the webcast.
All right. I'm giving the mic to Sherry. Sherry, you have the mic.
Mm-hmm. Sherry?
Sherry? We're hearing a dog in the background.
Why don't we
look at my dog? They're preparing the space.
Yep.
They're holding the mic. The mic's on the dogs now.
You want to pick another one, Joe, or we'll go to a question on the
webcast? All righty. Let's go to Christine. Christine, you have the mic.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, I got the question. Hi, is that Christine?
Christine, yes, you're speaking with Christine.
Okay.
I don't hear Christine.
I don't either. I've got a question coming in from Carolyn, a friend of mine, on the webcast, and she says, my son Kyle made his transition on July 1st, 2014. Does he have any message for me, and did he like the funeral service I had for him?
Can you give me his name again, please?
His name is Kyle.
And his mom's name?
Carolyn.
Okay, and you don't know if she has another. Are you in contact with her right now?
No, not at this moment.
Okay. I know there's another child involved here, so when that child comes in, he talks about another sibling, so it must be a sister there on the earth he's concerned about, just saying hello to. His mother still has his pajamas, which is very interesting. And he knows that she carries all his things, has his clothes, his shirts, his caps, but pajamas is very interesting. And he said to her he's happy with music, for some reason, music. And it's very interesting. He's given me a concept, and this concept comes in quite a bit from the spirit world, especially when we're with kids. Many times kids will come through and say to the parent, I died once. Don't make me die every day with your thoughts. Oh. And that's not easy, but it's really, really true. So his mom has got to realize that he's very, very alive, he's not dead, and he's watching over her very, very much so. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Let's see.
It's a hard one. Also, people don't know this, that many times people think that just because someone's in the spirit world that they've progressed and they've evolved, when really the truth is that many times the spirits will learn from us down here. They watch us all the time and how we handle various situations, and we teach them. They learn from us how we handle a situation. We teach them maybe that compassion or patience. So it doesn't just happen because they're in the spirit world, they know everything. Not at all. They learn from us down here. So people should realize that. But many people don't.
Can we talk a little bit about another subject that is a tough one, and that's suicide? James, what happens after suicide?
Well, suicide is just a way of leaving the body. So whether it's suicide or a heart attack or a car crash or a fire or a hit by a car, the soul leaves the body, and there's no pain whatsoever when the soul leaves the body. Okay? That's number one. Mm-hmm. Two, I used to think that suicide was completely wrong, and I don't think that anymore. What I think is everything are opportunities, and I think that this room down here, the schoolroom, this earth is our schoolroom, and it's a great schoolroom because there's so many different types of classes for us to take and grow and expand very quickly. But sometimes it seems some souls come back to the earth world, the earth school, too quickly, before their time, if you will, before their rhythm of time, because they want to come back, and they have free will to do that. And it seems that there are some souls who feel like they don't fit in, and they just want to exit, and some will have suicide. And what happens, it really depends on the suicide. What's the background of the suicide? So someone has that situation is very different than somebody who has a mental illness and complete suicide. That's very different. And it's also very different than someone whose Google stock drops and jump out the window. That's also very different because they have a consciousness, they have an awareness. The other person might not. So the most important thing to realize is a soul can never be harmed, can never be hurt, even by suicide. And there's a lot of love in the spirit world that they greet these people over there. They will meet them, and they help to clear up their mind, the mindset they might have. It seems that with suicide, the people left behind, the family members, the ones behind, are the ones that the spirit feels really bad for. They're fine, but the ones left behind they feel really upset about because they left this stain, if you will. The best thing we can do for a suicide person is to send them prayers. You know, the Catholic Church has it very right where they say pray for the dead. It's really, really true. Just like before I said thoughts are things, prayers are unconditional love. It's thoughts of unconditional love. And if we send those loving thoughts to that person who had the suicide, and let's say they have a hard time forgiving themselves for leaving early, or whatever the scenario is, if we send them love, it will help them to love themselves. So that's really important.
Thank you. I always wondered if it was just a continuation of what it's like here. You know, if we have troubles here, is it the same there?
Sure. You can't just get out of your troubles. You got to understand. You got to learn who you are and express who you are and go through various experiences to be who you are. One thing I should say too, which a lot of people don't think of, is before we come back into the incarnation, we as souls sit with our teachers and our guides, our master guides, and we go through, if you will, a curriculum of various soul lessons that we're going to learn in this lifetime, this coming lifetime. And one of those lessons might be suicide. A soul might pick suicide. They think, you know what? I'm going to pick a suicide. I'm going to go complete suicide because by doing that, I'm going to help my mother's spirit, my father's spirit, my sister's spirit, whatever the lesson, specific lesson might be for them. But just by that act, it might force them to do something in a positive way. So I don't know. So I don't want to say it's always a negative thing. It's always, who knows? They might have picked that out also. That's a possibility. I think we have to be open to all possibilities.
James, I have
yes.
a question.
Okay.
There's so many questions that are pouring.
You can ask a question. Yes, go right ahead.
I will.
Just spit it out.
Excuse me. All right. A lot of people have written in about losing their pets and how they can reach out to them. And there's so many people that have asked that question. I thought I'd just throw that out there and get your thoughts on that.
Sure. So the number one way for me, that I use for reaching out to pets, is really through meditation. So it's quieting the mind, and it's bringing yourself to a space, a centered space, where you become just neutral and surrender. And you just ask them just with one thought. You don't have to send 10 thoughts. One thought will do. Because their love is so strong for you, your animal's love, that bond of love still remains intact. So just one thought is all that they need. And invite them closer to your space, into your heart, and then you listen. And you'll begin to hear their thoughts. You'll begin to hear their thoughts. And it's a very subtle thought. It's different than our usual human thought. It's a very subtle thought you'll have. And that thought comes with a sense of unconditional love, like you would believe. And that's how you get in touch with the animals.
Well, then I would like to also bring up, people are saying, my loved ones come to me in the form of different animals, and I have had this experience with my own mother, and it's through cardinals. And so a lot of people are asking about that.
Sure, okay. So is it possible for them to come through to you in different ways with butterflies and blue jays and cardinals and all different types of things and hummingbirds and so forth? The answer is yes, and dimes and nickels and music on the radio and lights flickering on. Yes, it's all possible. They'll try any way they can to get your attention and your awareness that they're with you. So regarding the animals, many times the spirit they're always with you. And they'll be very, very aware when, let's say, a blue jay or a cardinal, in your case, a cardinal goes there, and you see a cardinal. Your mother, is your mother the cardinal? Not necessarily per se, but yes. In that, your mother is more than likely standing right next to you, projecting a thought of herself, her image, into your mind. You look at that cardinal, and you think of your mother. So now you're associating a cardinal with your mother, so every time you see that cardinal, you'll think of your mom. So really that's what it's about. So they are with you, and they're trying to get you to think of them through seeing the butterfly, the cardinal, the blue jay. So it happens all the time. They're always around us.
Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
I want to remind everybody, if you're just joining in, you're listening to James von Praagh. And Dee, do you want to take the question about the book?
You bet. I was just about to ask James if this would be a good time to lead us through the creating a sacred space, spiritual space. Should we do that now or later?
Sure, that's fine. We can do that now. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, great. We can do that. So it's the same thing as we did before the meditation. You just want to close our eyes. Right? And just listen to the sound of my voice again. It's fine. I'll play some music for us. It's just fine. Wherever you are, just sit comfortably or lie down wherever you are. Whether you're in front of a computer, that's fine. Just close your eyes. Feet on the floor, your legs. Be mindful of your legs, your shoulders and your arms. Back, your chest, your stomach. Mindful of how the body feels. Mindful of this lovely, lovely body. And give gratitude. Have a thought of gratitude to your body. It brings you all over this human earth. But we never take time to thank it. Now is the time to give gratitude to your body. And thank the body for the cells and organs, tissues, muscles, bloodstream. Have gratitude. Now we're going to go really, really quickly now to that lovely, lovely heart space that we went before when we started meditation. So as we inhale, once again we're going to envision a beautiful golden light to our heart. And that heart space opens up. And as you exhale out of your mouth, just let go of stale, old energy. So together, let's bring this beautiful golden light into the heart. And inhale. And hold it. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Again. Inhale. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Let it go. Just let it go. Just let it be. Just relax. Just relax. Good. Good. And just one more time. Inhale into the center of your being. Deal with that space and hold it. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. And just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Good. Very good. Good. Now in your mind's eye, in your imagination, I would like for you to create a room, a simple room of your own imagination. And this room can be a square room, that's just fine. Any room you want, just a big room with 4 walls. You can design this room any way you like, with any colors. You could put paintings on the walls if you'd like, or tapestries, or anything which expresses you. You also can fill this space up with furniture you choose, whether it's a couch or sofa, chairs, a bed, whatever you feel comfortable. Maybe something just lying on the floor. Whatever expresses you and makes you comfortable. This room represents you. As you go there, in your mind's eye, just sit now in the center of that room. Beautiful sacred space. Fill up that space now. Everything about you that's sacred. Everything about you that is sacred. Whether it's a word on the wall, a figure, an expression, whatever that means, just filling up that space with expressions of you. This space feels like you. Space is you. You are one with this space. Yes. And exhale. Good. And now along one of the walls, there's a big picture window. A big picture window there. See that now, that picture window. It can have curtains on it or not. Doesn't matter. But just see that big picture window. You can be mindful if there's an environment outside that window. Is it a forest? Is it a beach? Buildings? Whatever it is, just be mindful of what the outside of that window looks like. Good. And now as you sit in the chair in the center of that room, good space, you're going to ask whoever it is, whoever wants to come in, not for you, but for them, who need to come in to that window and show themselves. It will be either a person that you knew in life, someone you did not know. It could be a guide, a teacher, whoever is meant to be there now for themselves to share the space with you at this moment. Let them come now and see their face, their body, right in the middle of that window. To come through the window, just see them, acknowledge them, have them just sit next to you. Pull up a chair, invite them in, and sit next to you. Begin to speak with them. As you begin to speak with them, to begin to ask them questions and interview them. Ask them where they've come from, what role do they play in your life, why do they choose to come here today. Questions you want. Or like a reporter, you're interviewing them. Find out as much as you can about their world, about their life. There you go. And let me ask them how you, in particular, live optimum spiritual life. Optimum spiritual life. How can you live spiritual life? And exhale. Thank them and slowly open up your eyes and be as one. You go.
That is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you do that, the better it gets. And the more information you will have, the more your connection with Spirit will happen, the more your guides. It's a surrendering. So it's a surrendering of your space. And it's really lovely putting your own expression of self there.
Mm. Love that.
Thank you.
Let's switch gears here a little bit because we're getting close to the end of the hour, and I wanted to talk about the offering certification program for psychics and mediums,
yes,
and your James Van Praagh School of Mystical Arts.
Yes, the James Van Praagh. Well, it's really interesting because I've tried many, many years to wanting to do this, and the time has not been right yet because I've been traveling and gleaning knowledge and information and wisdom. So finally, I put together 3 months' worth of work, and it is coming out next month, May, the James Van Praagh School of Mystical Arts, and the first certification class is on intuition, psychic, and intuition development. And it's over 50 videos and homework and field trips and a lot of meditations and many, many different types of exercises, which a lot of people have never seen before or probably experienced before. So it's very exciting. So it's going to start in May. And for people that are interested, they can register their email. That's probably the best way, is that they register their email on my website, which is vanpraagh.com. And that's vanpraagh.com. That way we'll notify them when the school is ready to begin and you get the head of the class. And we have Google Hangouts too. We do that as well as part of the class.
Great.
Thank
and
you.
There's so many different websites for people to explore, James. You have your new book, Adventures in the Soul, Journeys Through the Physical and Spiritual Dimensions. So people might want to go find that too. It's an incredible book. I highly recommend it. And maybe
my soul journey cards also. My soul journey cards are great. Those are cards like for people who want about soul lessons that they're going through. Whether, like for instance, one of your callers is going through divorce. So I would say to her, take 3 cards out of this pile, the soul journey cards, shuffle them, pick 3 cards. What are you learning from this lesson? And it's amazing what comes in. So that's something people can use every day, the soul journey cards. Great.
Well, James, thank you so much for being with us. This hour flew by. You have just been such a delight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're really grateful, and it's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye now.
Goodbye. And so for everyone else, I wanted to give you the updates on our calls coming up. Tomorrow we have the Power of Prayer call with Reverend Michelle Savacco. On Thursday, we have a Lavina Oneness call with Steve Farrell and Zen DeBrook. And on Thursday, a little later in the day, we have a Healing with the Archangels call. So you can find out more on the livinginone.com website if you want to register for any of those calls. It has been such a fun time. Nanette, is there anything else that you would like to bring in?
No, except for that I would definitely like to have him back, because I tell you, people, listeners, that we couldn't have had the call without you. There were so many hands up and so many requests, and I think we will try to get James back again, and we'll maybe try to do a little longer call. But I also wanted to thank Cheryl Park and Joe Beal, who are producing this call today.
Thank you very much, ladies. And we will send out an email with some of the quotes that have come in today on the webcast. So many of you are writing in thanking James for being with us. So we will put those in our email, as many as we can. So thank you for sending in your kind comments. And we'll also add in the information from the two experiences James shared with us today, the healing meditation and creating sacred space. So we'll jot those down for you, and we so appreciate you being with us here today. And we'd like to invite you to explore Community Circle. So you can find out more about that by visiting the Humanities Team website and click on Community Circle, where you can have all of these calls from Living in Oneness 2014, 2015, 2013, and Global Oneness Day and the 12 Spheres. All of our calls are hosted on the Community Circle site, where you can explore and listen to calls about parenting, calls about business, calls about deepening your connection with spirit. There's just so much that you can explore on the Community Circle website, and we encourage you to do that now. We have a 2-week free opportunity for you, and that is going away here in a couple of weeks. So do sign up for your 2 weeks free while you have the opportunity. So Nanette, over to you.
Well, I just want to say again thank you to everyone who came to the call today. It was a very well-attended call, and we hope that you got some of that energy moving around from James' meditations. And I know, because I own several different meditations that James does, and there were so many questions about pets too. In one of them, you're so relaxed and you're on a forest path, and you look down that path and you see an animal, and it's a pet that's gone to the other side, and that pet at that time is your spirit guide, your animal spirit guide. And it was so profound, because when I first did that meditation, that I thought, oh, the dog I want to show up is not going to show up. And Phoebe, my Cocker Spaniel with the tail, showed up, and it was very moving. And every time I do that meditation, it's a different pet from my past, but they're just really beautiful meditations, and they are so relaxing. I really encourage anybody who has not done one of those meditations to look into them.
Well, it has been a fun hour, Nanette, so I'm going to say thank you to you too, and we'll talk to everyone really soon.
Okay, and thank you too, Dee.
And, one other thing, our new Living in Oneness website, everyone should take a quick minute and go listen to our replays there if you've missed any of the calls. So thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.